For the month of April, I don't want you to pursue a job. I'm calling you to pursue TikTok, pursue the podcast, and I'll provide everything you need. Welcome back to Get Outside today. My name is Dominic. As you can see, we are outside again, finally. Winter is hopefully over here in Colorado, but I'm so thrilled to be back outside. Pikes Peak, Ute Valley, Colorado Springs, a special place, my new backyard. This episode is going to be just a little bit of a life update, sharing what God has been doing in my life recently. It's been so special, full of just intentional relationship. So I want to give you guys a little bit of an update of what's been going on since last October 2024. Near the end of October, I was back in California visiting my mom and my sister, and a couple days before I left, I was in the kitchen talking with my mom, feeling like something was going to change. I was talking to her about how I wasn't super happy with my job situation, wasn't thrilled with my living situation, but I felt like there was something new coming up, something fresh on the horizon. A change was coming, but I didn't know what, I didn't know when. So I fly back on a Saturday, and on Tuesday, 3 days later, after I had that conversation with my mom, I get laid off from my job out of nowhere, out of the blue. Not a 2 weeks, it was today's your last day, you're done, turn in your laptop, ciao. So I was praying for a change, I was praying for something different, and God just pushed me to the edge and got me out of that situation immediately. He knew it wasn't bringing me life. And then I was thinking about my living situation. I was living in a house that hadn't been updated since the 70s. It wasn't bringing me life. Time just stood still in this house. So I needed to get out. So I'm looking for new places. I obviously don't have a job at the current time. I got laid off. So I'm looking at places that are cheap, places in my price range. The places are rough, as you can imagine. Dirty, smell bad, not the best area of town. I'm a little bit discouraged. So I'm searching around town. I'm searching even up in Denver, trying to figure this out, trying to navigate it. And I found this nice apartment building. It had been everything that I had really dreamed of and kind of been praying about. Pool, gym, laundry in my unit, all of the things. But it was 3 times the amount of rent that I was paying at my old place. With no job, I thought, no way, but I was gonna check it out anyways. Take the tour, and I immediately feel at home in this new apartment complex. It's not like I needed something nice to feel at home. I had lived in shipping containers, hostels, lived in a literal closet, and those places felt like home. But God was putting this place on my heart. I laughed and I said, no way. There's no way I'm moving here. It makes literally no sense. But every day God put this place on my heart, every quiet time. This is the place, this is the place. For 2 months, I told him no. For 2 months. I said no. Finally, I caved, I gave in. I was like, all right, God, I'll apply for it. A unit opened up that was like literally perfect, 3rd floor. Everything I had wanted, it opened up, it aligned. I got the apartment. So I move in at the end of February, just the beginning of March, right? And still no job. We're 4 months into this unemployment. I've been applying for jobs. I started applying for jobs that were kind of in my job experience. Things that I had experience in, marketing, social media, these things. Kind of shooting for the stars. As time kind of has went on, I started lowering my expectations, applying for more entry-level jobs. All the way to a point where I was applying for jobs that were some of my first jobs I had ever had when I was 14, 15, 16 years old. Not only that, but I was writing cover letters for these jobs. Denied, denied, denied. Not just not hearing back, getting emails back. Getting denied from these front desk jobs at a gym. Things I've done before. No, no, and no. All right, God, here we are again. Something is clear. You have something. What the heck is it? Because it's obviously not any of these jobs. Kind of during this time, I was 2 weeks into my new apartment and my mom came out. She helped me move in. She celebrated my birthday all in the same week. It was a special week. We recorded TikTok. God had told me kind of during this time to kind of taking TikTok more seriously. I wasn't sure to what extent, so right when I moved into my new place, I started making, a few TikToks here and there. My mom flew out, kind of at the beginning process of all of this. We recorded 3 TikToks. We went for a hike, and one of the TikToks went viral. It was a story about her sharing a date with Jesus. I think it currently has over 180,000 plays on my TikTok, but it brought in a lot of new people, a lot of new followers. It kind of gave me the boost that I needed to, all right, like this can be something. Still wasn't sure what, but it gave me some momentum into my new place, kind of kickstarted me into this new chapter in my life. She leaves, it's coming to the end of March, and it's kind of my first real rent payment. I haven't had a job for 4 months. I have never pursued money in my 20s. I've never pursued a career in my 20s. I don't have a lot of money at this point in my life. And it's the end of the month. It's a day before rent is due. I'm driving out of my apartment to go run an errand. God says, go check your mailbox. I said, okay. Pull over, get out, check my mailbox, and there's 2 checks from a family member I hadn't talked to about this situation. I hadn't talked to in months. 2 checks the day before rent was due. I was like, okay, God, I see you. I think God says, for the month of April, I don't want you to pursue a job. I'm calling you to pursue TikTok, pursue the podcast, and I'll provide everything you need. Obviously, it took some weight off my shoulders, but God, there's not much money left. I'm paying 3 times more rent in a new place. Okay. So April's here. All right, TikTok, here we go. I start posting more. I start getting into, a few more lives. I'm starting to get comfortable with it. We're halfway through April. Still not sure what this whole God, I will provide everything you need, blah, blah, blah. What is this? I do my taxes. It's the middle of April. I'm filing my taxes, and I get to the very end, and I see the number of my return, and I laugh out loud. It is probably maybe just $40 short of what my rent payment is for the month. Basically the exact amount that I needed to pay my rent at the end of April, right there. I looked around, I just laughed. I was like, all right, God, you are real. This is real. Thank you for this. Thank you for not, giving it to me in the 11th hour, which he seems to do a lot. Thank you for this in the middle of the month. I was able to take a breath for the second half of April. And so I'm focused on what he's calling me to. I dive into this TikTok thing. I had been posting on it for a couple of years, but it was an afterthought of my outdoor photography. But I knew that I wanted it to be an extension of my podcast. I wanted it to be more of an opportunity to connect with who I am, more raw, more just kind of, some ideas aren't big enough for a 10-minute, 15-minute podcast episode, but it's a great idea for a TikTok. So I start a new series on my TikTok page, praying for people. I see a lot of people on social media post a generic prayer video, them praying, which is great, amazing, I love those. But I wanted to pray for you and you specifically. So I made a post of just saying that. Comment any prayer requests, message me if you're more comfortable with that, of any prayer requests, and I would love to pray for you. And I told them in the video of kind of what I do. I started this in 2019 during my experience with YWAM, Youth with a Mission. We were overseas in Kyrgyzstan. A team was coming to visit us where we were at. They were doing some missions work in Kyrgyzstan, and we were just meeting up for the day. And our leader said, let's write them words of encouragement. God had been speaking to me through worship during this time, so I was like, maybe I'll send them a worship song and maybe hear what God's saying through these worship songs and write it down and I can give it to them. So I'm praying over my worship playlist, I'm praying over them, I'm asking God for a song for the individual people on this team. Click shuffle. I believe the first song is from God for them. Write it down, whatever God's speaking through me, done. One of the cards, one of the songs, one of the things I wrote down was about this girl's eyes. Something about how people can see Jesus through her eyes. So the team comes over I'm handing out the cards, and the last card is the one with the eyes on it. Handing it to her, and I look up at her for the first time, and her eyes are just beautiful, shining bright, and you could just tell there was so much life. You could see Jesus in her eyes. And I was like, all right, this is real. Not only is it real, but it's intentional to the details. The first time I was like, okay, this has some power. This can really be something. So I did that for my team, kind of the rest of our trip, and I kind of let it go for a while. Didn't really do that a lot. And I thought of the idea again here posting TikToks last month in April. I was like, let's do this for people. So I make this post offering prayer. I was not expecting it to blow up like it did. I had the most amazing prayer requests, the most vulnerable, honest stories of deep things that these people were struggling with, that were going through. I want to share a couple of these amazing testimonies. There was a lady who was in and out of the hospital. She had been struggling, and she messaged me that she just was ready to give up. She was ready to be done. She was ready to be home with God. How heavy. So I'm praying for this lady. It's a complete stranger. I started a Google Doc page so I could write these down and send them to him. I hit shuffle, and the song is New Wine. In the pressing and the crushing, God is making new wine. I start just bawling. Another one was a lady reached out about having a miscarriage, and just the pain through that. Praying for her, I hit shuffle. The song is Living Hope. Talks about breaking the chains of death. Another one is a girl reached out to me and talked about being physically abused. The song was Defender. God being her defender. I mean, the intentionality of these lyrics, these specific prayer requests has been amazing. I have, I think, 25, 26 pages of Google Docs just praying for people. I've made a post like this 3 times. I've prayed for over 60 people intentionally, but then I started doing these on my live streams, just offering prayer. Do you have any prayer requests? Love to pray for you. Send you a worship song. People message, people say, yeah, I love prayer. And so I do it right there on the live. It's so fun to do it in front of people so they can see the intentionality of God. I pray for them. I ask God, like, God, what do you want for this person? What do you want for this person today? I start speaking things, whatever God's praying for me. You're not your past. You're beautiful. God wants to show you more beauty, whatever it is. And then right in front of him, I click shuffle my worship playlist, and then the song comes on, and almost basically every time, the lyrics are so intentional for what I was just praying for what they needed. God told me not to pursue a job in April, not for me, but for these other people. He gave me time and space to be able to pray for people, to love people, to show them God's love through me. I always tell them when I'm doing this, listen, I'm just a middleman. I'm here just typing away. I'm hearing and I'm sharing what God has for you, how he sees you. I remind them this page is not about me. My TikTok, my podcast is not about me. I want to come on here and share my stories of faith, my testimony, yes, so that you can connect with it in some way. It's robbing God of his glory by not sharing your story. So that's what my platform has become. I've been doing some Bible studies on there, but the heart of it is to pray for you, for strangers. The community I've built on there has been amazing. People keep coming back to every single live. And then they start praying for people. They send resources to people that ask for prayer requests, Bible verses, journals. It's been amazing. The support, people feel seen, people feel heard. I have been praying for community. I didn't know that God was going to give it to me on TikTok, but it's real. You might laugh, I laugh, absolutely. But it's there and it's real. You're not alone. There is a community that on social media wants to support you and love you. My TikTok is Dominic_outdoors. Go check it out. If you have any prayer requests, please message me. I would love to pray for you. Okay, so now it's nearing the end of April. All this is happening, all at once. It's the last week, and I can't help but start thinking about May. Of course. God, okay. I saw you were faithful. I'm trusting you. What about May? It's coming up. It's the last week of April. I go to the mountains to ski for my last time. Go out skiing for the day. I'm sitting in the hot tub, and God says, this is the life that I have for you. This is what I'm calling you to. I'm calling you to this sort of ministry. This is just the beginning. You're just building your portfolio, but what I have for you are the desires of your heart, to love people, to travel, to make content. I've been experiencing it in maybe a small way, but he has more. So I was like, okay, God, well, what does this mean for the month of May? He said, do you trust me in not pursuing a job again? I knew it. I just knew it. But he said, let this month be a month of building your portfolio, practicing, building more community. I said, all right, I've seen you do it once. The disciples saw you do it over and over. They still doubted. Peter still doubted when he walked on the water. I know I'm Peter right now. I know I see you, but I'm also seeing the storm around me. I know I'm sinking a little bit. I know I have to reach out for your hand. And he does immediately. Reaches out. You have so little faith. Why did you doubt me? So here we are, trusting these words, trusting this ministry, that it can be done on social media. It doesn't have to be some crazy overseas thing. Yes, maybe that'd be amazing, but it's my daily bread being where my feet are today, and that is on social media, sharing relationship. Jesus, not pushing Christianity, but showing people the love of Jesus through relationship, through my worship playlist, through typing, through my Google Docs, through the live streams. So if this has inspired you at all, if you're feeling stirred at all in this message, in my testimony, what God is doing, not for me, but through me, I would love your support. I would love to be in this together. Check out my website, www.dominikoutdoors.com/support. There's a link there. There's more of my heart there, my message there. Check out my TikTok, Dominic_outdoors, Instagram @DominicOutdoors. Let's do this together. And if you feel like you are being called to this as well, your story is not a burden. People want your story. You're robbing God of his glory by not sharing your story. Your story is worth it. This testimony of faith, the things that you went through, how you felt, how God brought you out of it, the world needs it. People need more stories to connect their story with, to find hope. So that's my encouragement for you. You are so worth the 1% each and every day. And as every day, get outside today.